veterans I wanted to thank, but unfortunately time has caught up with them, leaving words unsaid, so I will tell them to you. Again, this is not a complete list because I promised to keep this concise. To PFC Albert E. Schwab, Medal of Honor winner and World War II veteran, who gave a speech to a bunch of know-it-all second lieutenants who had just graduated from the infantry basic course. He was our guest speaker and finished his talk with the importance of being able to utilize the flamethrower. Words to the effect of, learn it, love it, use it. Some snickered because we don't use flamethrowers anymore, but they missed the point. The moral of the story was not how to use the flamethrower, is how to use your weapon proficiently and the technology around it. Today we use drones, GPS-guided munitions, and lasers. Who knows what will be in the arsenal of the future? I've seen people fumble because they didn't heed the lesson he gave of knowing your equipment. To a lieutenant colonel helicopter pilot in 1991 when I was at air assault school. During the flight orientation phase, we were lined up in our chalks waiting for the helos to come in. We saw 2 Blackhawks and our pulses quickened with excitement. And then the third helo arrived, slow with the distinctive whoop, whoop, whoop sound of the rotors. It was a venerable Huey, and my chalk let out the collective sigh of disappointment. We wanted the new stuff. We were signaled to that aircraft, and I can honestly say that we were truly dejected. As we boarded, the pilot turned around, and he was no spring chicken, told us to make sure our seatbelts were fastened and hold on, and I swear he was smiling. During our nap of the earth flight, we were looking up at the Blackhawks. I could easily tell you the type of tree we were passing over based on the leaves. Our pilot in that Huey put the Blackhawks to shame and a few of my fellow passengers to the air sickness bag. My lesson, newer is not always better, and a craftsman is still a craftsman no matter the tool in his hand. I remember this particularly well during my deployments to Iraq and especially Afghanistan, keeping my hubris and that of my soldiers in check, and that saved us often. Thank you to that veteran. When Kabul fell, myself and many Afghanistan veterans had some pretty big emotions, but we were not alone. Many Vietnam veterans stepped up and stepped in to help. I saw this online and in phone calls with my peers who relayed the support they received. Life goes on. It wasn't easy for that generation when Saigon fell, and they ensured that we had a better. Thank you. Veterans across generations and organizations helped get the Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson honoring our promise to address comprehensive toxins better known as the PACT Act. I know that's a mouthful, which finally included new Agent Orange presumptive conditions along with burn pit exposure and other toxins. That was veterans that helped push that through. Mental health has come a long way from shell shock, combat fatigue, PTSD. It is still not completely understood, but it is out of the shadows and being actively worked on, as well as TBI. Veterans pushing that forward. So to tie back in, are we relevant? Absolutely. We have a sense of service to our community and others. From a Military Times article in November 2021, veterans vote and volunteer more than their civilian peers. Veterans average 95 hours of volunteer work a year compared to 74 for non-veterans. Nearly 37 belong to a group working on community issues, while only 27% of non-veterans regularly take part in those activities. The future remains in our hand, but we must be flexible. Our fights and experiences, spanning well over 70 years, are varied, and the number of veterans decreases every year. We must remain adaptable to what a new generation of veterans need and require. As the Grand Army of the Republic faded with the last Civil War veteran, we as current members of the American Legion, VFW, VVA, IAVA, and other groups must work together for the betterment of all veterans. We are a family, extended to be sure. You know, we have grunts, dog faces, squids, jarheads, zoomies, coasties, and guardians. Has anybody come up with a slang for the new Space Force yet? Yeah, I haven't heard it yet. Yeah, Space Cadet just doesn't cut it yet, so. Our experiences ranged from World War II to Afghanistan and every level of conflict in between. Although we may, pardon me, although we may squabble and tease each other, heaven help an outsider if they try to pick on any of us, as the full might of family will come down on them. We would like to be the last veterans, but we know that's not the case. Storm clouds continue to be on the horizon, and it remains a turbulent time. Quoting Major General H.R. McMaster from May 2012, he admitted, quote, "We have a perfect record in predicting future wars, right? And that record is 0%. We do not know what the future holds for us, but it is for us to be unified to protect and assist our service members if they should have to go into harm's way, and continue to be an example for our communities at large." Calvin Coolidge in 1920 said that the nation which forgets its defenders will itself be forgotten. On Memorial Day, we remember our fallen, and on this day, while we are still here, let us not forget each other and those that continue to join our ranks, lest we forget. Thank you, and God bless.